It's an honor today to get acquainted with a gentleman, Mr. Jan Gupta, who is the president and CEO at Akkodis, which is a very colorful enterprise, which is a very interesting background to it and how it all came together. But maybe we'll start off a bit with you, Jan, a little bit about yourself and the company that you're heading up.
Thanks, Phil, for having the chance to talk to you. First of all, myself, I know I'm a grounded engineer. So I'm an engineer all my life, and I worked in several tech companies around the globe, mostly in mechanical engineering and IT environments for high-tech products. So I worked on the customer side, let me put it this way. And I was asked around 4 years ago to join a group which wanted to build up a new leader in the consulting tech area. And so that's why I joined 4 years the Adecco group. So I'm coming from the customer side, know what the customer needs to have. So that was then my job to build up Akkodis, we didn't exist 3 years ago. And by knowing or by being the customer before, it was clear for me that the world is changing quickly in the so-called smart industry, what I call smart industry setup. And it's not good enough anymore that you are good in mechanical engineering or that you are super in IT. You have to combine both. You have to understand big data. You have to understand AI. That was already clear 2 or 3 years ago. And that's why we said, okay, we have to, this kind of company does not exist as a consulting company. So we can create something like that, maybe new from scratch.
So you recently were at the World Economic Forum, Davos, and it'd be good to hear a little feedback from you on what you learned during that experience and how's that maybe impacted ideas you have on running your own business.
So every second meter and every second sentence was Gen AI. Everybody talked about Gen AI. And the key takeaway was that, for me, that everybody is talking about, but not everybody is clear and what does it mean for my company? What does it mean for my processes? Everybody likes to play with Gen AI, of course, and everybody has to talk about it. But what does it mean really for my processes? What does it mean for the skill set of my people? How will my factory look or my company look like in 10 years from now on? I think that was a big topic, which I found in a lot of discussions. And the second topic, bigger topic was, okay, it will come. That is clear. It's already there. What does it mean for our workforce? So what does it mean for our existing workforce? Do we have to upskill our workforce? Do we have thousands of coders in future, or will Gen AI do 80% of that automatically? So this is also a discussion, which was really in the middle of this week.
Yeah. So how do you see it really changing the sector then? Obviously, there's a lot of noise. The media hypes it because it's obviously impacting them as well. But how is this changing the engineering business per se in terms of the types of skill sets you're looking for, where you're going, the types of client needs you're trying to satisfy, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I was in that week on a panel, and I explained the situation, how the future will look like and how the future looks today already. And I brought an example of, you can take whatever machine you want to take. We can talk about a car or an airplane or whatever. In the past, you had teams developing this product on a worldwide basis, and you had engineers, IT specialists, and so on working together. as a team to develop. Tomorrow it will look a little bit different. And at Akkodis, we already developed, we call it AI agents. These are specialists, AI specialist, let me say, tools with a focus on some engineering practices. I give you one example. You want to develop an hydraulic system for a machine or an airplane or a car or whatever. In former times, you made that with a group of 3 or 4, 5, 6 engineers. Today, you talk and work with your AI agent, who is a specialist in hydraulics. Yeah. So that means the engineering work is changing. You have thousands of software coders who are programming apps and other things. Tomorrow, 80% of this thing will be done automatically. And the last 20%, you have to adapt. So there will be a lot of changes. And for Akkodis, it's a big chance, because we are since many years in the AI area. So, and also Gen AI is not, let me say, a miracle for us. And we are supporting a lot of companies how to grow and how to manage this transformation. Yeah.
Yeah. How is this impacting, recruiting, particularly people coming out of colleges and things? Because I'm hearing about firms now, particularly big consulting firms, actually trying to do programs with students before they graduate. So when they graduate, they're more ready and immediate for the workforce. And this is the common thing we're hearing from everybody right now, is they want talent they can just plug in. They don't want to have to go through painful learning processes and things like that. How's that creating an opportunity and a challenge for you guys?
Yeah, I think we have one opportunity is, of course, that we are part of one of the biggest HR companies around the globe. So means we have the recruitment power, of course. And we know where we get these candidates everybody wants to have. So this gives Akkodis really the power to grow fast. On the other side, let me underline one topic. Of course, everybody wants to have the talents, especially, for example, in AI, to grow the future. It's important that you combine these talents with industry knowledge, and that they can grow fast. And so it's a lot about training also, not in the former days we said training on the job, but this is now more training. Okay, you know all the AI technologies and everything, but how does an airplane really work? How does a car really work? And what is important here? And if you are able to combine both, you will be successful. Yeah. So we see that we have not, candidates are coming to us because they see us really as new kid on the block. Huh? We are not one of the traditional consulting firms. We are something new, and they, they are attracted by something new. Something is going on, and that's a bit our, let me say, advantage currently.
Interesting. So you talk about this shift from merely a jobs-based economy to a skills-based economy, and that's clearly something you're embracing. So how do you see this evolving in the next 3 to 5 years? It's not going to be linear, is it, around industries and organizations? It's going to be a very gradual, different scene unfolding.
Yeah, I think in the past, when I grew up, everybody told me, lifelong learning is key, and this, you should think about to train every time yourself. It comes more and more important. So when you have, so I think the skill set in the future will be so core, and you have to adapt as a candidate your skill set on a yearly basis, because more and more you will see that, for example, technologies will support you. So, for example, think about a biologist. He or she was, I would say, maybe in the past 80% of her time in the laboratory. In future, AI will do a lot of these things. Yeah, but how to feed the AI, how to develop the model that it works. So you need a complete different skill set to understand how you model that. And I think here we need a lot of let me say, we have to upskill a hell of people, and that is also what we are doing. And I'm proud being part of the big Adecco group, because we are putting that as our focus also to help the next generation also to transform into this new model.
Yeah, it's like these kids in their early 20s, right? They're going into the workplace. They know way more than we did when we were their age, right? They have exposure to politics, the world, technologies, everything. And so it's more, how do we help them with maturity and experience and
Yes.
emotional intelligence
Yes.
these times? Yeah.
And I think Philip, there is another topic. We have also some responsibility, and we have to take also care somehow. If we think about the new technologies, I think there are also something like ethics, which is important, and which we have to, which we have to bring also into the workspace, and which we have to also bring into the economy. I think it's very important that this is also an element which is not forgotten.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think ethics and responsibility is something that humans need to set in their companies before we even think about technology.
Yes, correct. You're right.
You just build it in together, it becomes very sanitized. So,
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
but this has been an awesome discussion, hearing your approach to the talent industry in particular, and how you're putting it together. It's fascinating. So I'm looking forward to hearing more and more about your company, Akkodis, as you keep growing and developing. Great. Well, maybe we'll meet up soon, and it's great getting some time with you today.
It would be
Jan.
great.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Phil. Hey, take a good time and see you soon.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Take care.